excited for this market because my amigurumi projects are making their debut and I'm putting them out for the first time ever. Hey makers, welcome back to my channel. My name is Camryn and I run the crochet boutique called Camryn's Cute Creations. Today I am bringing you with me to my market and I could not be more excited. I'm a little nervous, like a lot nervous, but I'm also really excited. I'm so excited to see how my little chickens sell. I also have bees and I have some mice snugglers too. So pretty pumped about putting these out and I'm a little nervous, but again, really excited and I'm just really glad you're here with me. I really love vlogging, so I hope you enjoy the vlog as much as I love filming it for you. And if you like this video, please like it down below. That helps me out a whole lot. Also, it's gonna be kind of a long video, I'm guessing, so grab something to work on. Let's be productive together. I'm gonna be selling in my market. Maybe you wanna be prepping for your next market, and be sure to comment down below what you brought to work on during today's vlog because I would love to hear about all the creations you're making as well. I'm going to explain the actual event I'm doing so you have a better understanding as I take you there. So it's going to be at the fairgrounds and the event is called Farm Chicks. It's actually a handmade fair and it's also a vintage fair. So there's going to be a lot of antiques but also a lot of handmade items as well. I am so excited to participate in this market because I've actually gone as a customer before with a friend of mine a couple years ago, and seriously, I feel like this event was made for me. I keep telling Peyton, if this event was in fall, I know for a fact I would sell really well. The only thing that's kind of concerning me is it's June, so that is why I'm trying out the amigurumi, because a lot of my other wearables are for fall and winter, and I don't usually do a lot of markets in summer, so it is a June market. We'll see how it goes. I got the amigurumi with me. Today we get a setup, and then tomorrow it's 9 to 6 is the market, and then the next day, Sunday, it is 9 to 4. So a couple of pretty long days. At the end of this video, I will for sure give you an update on how the amigurumi sold and also how my fall and winter stuff sold too, because I feel like I still will sell some of that, especially the baby stuff. Today is Friday and today we get to set up. So this is really nice. We get to set up a full day before the market actually starts, which is going to be so nice because then I can wake up tomorrow, grab my chai tea latte and just show up and everything's going to be set up for me already. I'm not going to have to stress about waking up super early and getting my display set up in time. I'm gonna have plenty of time to do that today. So it's about 2 o'clock right now. Peyton is coming home from work pretty soon here and we're actually gonna head straight to the venue. But before that, I wanted to sketch out a few display ideas so I know what display items I want to bring with me to this market, and I'm gonna try to sketch out a couple of ideas and then I'm going to load the cars and hopefully Peyton gets home from work pretty soon and then we'll head to the venue and get all set up. The birds are going a little nuts out here. They're really happy today. But I want to show you how I picture people walking through my booth. So if I'm sitting up here, which I usually like to sit at the front, we'll see how it goes again when I actually get there. But if I'm sitting up here, I expect people to be attracted by kind of my lower price items set up in my pegboard. And traffic, I'm picturing they'll walk through here. They'll go up, look at all my amigurumi, back the fall stuff, and then back here, which is like all my tiered stands with all sorts of stuff on there, and then they'd check out there. That's kind of like the natural flow of traffic going on, but we'll see when I actually get there. This may change a little bit, but it's good to have a rough plan. At least I know which display items I want to pack right now, so let's go do that. I actually haven't looked at my, oh my gosh, this is from my dog's birthday. I used my market sign to say happy birthday, Miss Alice. Okay, well, that needs to be wiped off and redone. Oh boy, I feel like I have way more to do than I thought. So I definitely didn't have time to go through and organize everything. Some of the stuff I'm definitely not going to need, but gonna need my tables for sure. So gonna grab those and set them aside. And of course I'll need my chair. Here are my tiered stands. There's it's really disorganized. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna borrow my mom's car because it's way bigger. Whoa, way bigger than mine. So I'm gonna fold the seats down and start loading. Don't need this. I'm trying to filter through some of the stuff I need and some of the stuff I don't need, but this is part of my checkout stand. So I definitely will want to bring that. Here is the top of my checkout stand. So that will be definitely coming with me. You know what's really nice about doing an indoor market is, first of all, you don't have to redo your display every single day. If it's multiple days, you can just keep it up. But also, you don't need to worry about weather and weighing down your canopy. So I don't need to bring my canopy or any of my weights to this one, which I'm pretty pumped about. Here are those tiered stands. Here's both of them. So definitely want to bring both of those. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have room or not, but I hope I do because I feel like it's gonna look really good if I do. Here is my pegboard. Oh, I'm opening it wrong. Super nice that I don't have to worry about this blowing over because this thing blows over like crazy when you're outdoors and I have to weigh it down. I found this sign that says bestsellers and this little thing to prop it up, so I'm definitely gonna bring that for my front. Okay, wow, I definitely should have went through and organized all of my display stuff before the day I'm setting up, but you know what? This is where we're at. It's all good. We're just going with it. And honestly, I feel a little overwhelmed, specifically because I'm bringing amigurumi, so it's something different. Plus, it's a market I've never done before, so I'm like, I don't know, like, how am I gonna display all this stuff? So I'm gonna ask the queen of amigurumi to give me some advice, and that is Katie from Katie Being Creative. You've probably seen her videos. She does market videos just like I do, but she sells amigurumi. So I'm about to share with you the call that we did where I get to pick her brain about amigurumi, selling amigurumi, how to display it, all the things before I go and set up today because I'm feeling a little all over the place. Can you tell? Can you tell? It's okay. We're gonna feel better when we're all set up. Trust me. But right now it's a little like, it's a lot. It's a lot right now. I'm a little overwhelmed. It's okay though. It's all good. It's all good. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Camryn.
I'm so excited to have you on the channel.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Katie has her own YouTube channel called Katie Being Creative. And she also does market vlogs. She also does a lot of amigurumi. I was like writing down notes and I'm like, all I have for you is amigurumi questions because I just started doing amigurumi and I feel like it's a whole nother world of crochet. So I'm so excited to pick your brain. I have Katie on my channel asking her some questions, and then I'm going to be on Katie's channel and she's going to ask me some questions over there. So be sure to check out her video too after this one. Start by introducing yourself and kind of how you got started, and then we'll get into some of these like amigurumi questions I have. I'm like really excited about.
Sure. So obviously I'm Katie. I am 20 and I'm from the Tampa, Florida area. And I started crocheting, I feel like kind of the same way that most people do. I just thought it was cool. And I had a friend that knew how to do it and I begged her to teach me and she did. And I just like did not put a hook down from there, I feel like. And it's been like 4.5 years ago that was now.
Okay, wow.
So, yeah, and then she taught me a little bit of amigurumi, and then I also learned a little bit through YouTube and stuff, and now it's just a whole big thing.
Totally. I feel like amigurumi is just like this whole other world of crochet, and I'm like just kind of getting into it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my friends are always so impressed with the stuff I'm making, and I'm like, no, like you have no idea. Like there's like so much more out there, you know? I know you do a lot of amigurumi. Do you only do amigurumi or have you ever done wearables or accessories?
I started out with kind of everything, to be honest.
Yeah. We all did.
I found, right? And then I found that I really like plushies the most. So that's what I have stuck to mostly. Recently, I have dabbled a little bit into some crochet bags, and I'm trying those out a little bit at markets. And they're still kind of like the plushie type, more geared towards kids. Like put little faces on them and stuff, so it still fits in with the whole theme. But yeah, that's kind of something that I'm not super experienced with, but am trying that out as of the past like 2 markets.
Okay, cool. So you kind of started with amigurumi.
Yeah.
So that's
which
like
I feel like is kind of opposite.
Yeah. I'm like, we kind of are doing the opposite thing. So my next question for you, it's a pricing question. And I feel like I'm kind of running into this problem as well as a lot of people who sell amigurumi. Amigurumi takes so long to make. How do you price it? Like, do you price for your time? I always tell people to price for their time, but amigurumi does take a long time. So I'm curious to hear your views on that.
I do price my time. I try to stick to patterns that are quick and no-so, and to, kind of keep it budget friendly for people, because I know not everybody wants to pay for like a $60 item, especially when they come up and they have like 3 different kids. They're like, okay, you can each have a $10 item instead of you getting a $60 $50 one, and then it's obviously super expensive.
Yeah.
So the main thing is I just try to stick to the smaller items. And if I make a pattern that takes longer than like 2 hours, it's something I just won't make again because I know I have to charge way too much for it.
Yes.
But
yeah.
in general, too, people are willing to pay for something if it's really cute.
Exactly. Yeah. So
exactly. Those big items, I feel like draw people into your booth too. Yep. So even if they're not selling, I get people that are like, that's so cute. That's so cute at every market. So it brings them in and they buy a smaller item.
I've totally, even like with my stuff, not so much the amigurumi just because I just started doing that, but if I have this like huge blanket and I obviously have to charge more for it, if I have that, it draws people in and they end up buying a couple of other little things. So that's a really good point. Like if you have kind of those more higher priced items and amigurumi specifically, I'm sure you draw so many people in with like all the cute stuff you make. So I like that. It's always like important to have variety too. So like some of the price points are lower and some of them are higher. So I guess we kind of went over this a little bit, but as far as pricing amigurumi, we know it takes a bit longer than some other things, and then you do charge for your time. Are there any ways that you like to cut time? You said you don't do any much sewing. You don't do a lot of sewing with your stuff, but are there any other ways that you like to cut time? Maybe like I use chunkier yarn. I've noticed that. That cuts time, but anything else, or also like cutting material costs as well, because I know all the soft yarn can definitely add up. So
totally. So for the material cost, I definitely always shop sales. I almost never buy if it isn't on sale. And my big tip for especially the chunky yarn at like Joann and stuff is regular price $11.99, which is obviously not cheap.
No.
And it adds up. They have the doorbusters a lot that are $8.99 or so, which is still pretty good. But in general, it's actually a better deal if you go for the deals that aren't doorbusters and then use a pickup order coupon at the same time. You can get it down to like $6.
Oh my gosh.
So that's my life hack.
That is gold right there. Oh my gosh. I didn't even know that. Like, I'm gonna do that now. You've hacked the system.
I have. I'm like, I need to tell everybody. That's my gosh.
That's awesome. Okay, I'm so excited to start doing that. So we kind of talked about price points a little bit, but I'm curious, like what price points sell best for you at markets? So, like, it's like $5 range is kind of like 5 to 10, or we get, like what's your best selling like price points?
Totally. I'd say like $10 to $20 is, and it's actually weird because recently I added a $5 bin for some just like really small items, and those didn't even sell as well as my $10 ones.
Weird.
I was like, what?
Okay, whatever.
I guess I have more options for items that are $10. So people wanted, more options than just like the few small ones I had. But I found that so strange, but definitely cheaper items in general. And I always stick to the no-sew patterns that are like 30 minutes or less. I design a lot of those patterns that end up being really quick so that I can make them a cheaper price point at markets.
And do you like specialize in quicker makes for markets and stuff? Because I've seen some of your patterns are super cute.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess you could say I do specialize in some of the smaller no-sew patterns. I have so far one pattern pack out that is no-sew patterns that are best sellers for me at markets that take less than 30 minutes for me to make each one of those items. So it's a frog, a whale, and an octopus pattern pack. Yeah. They're all no-sew, so there's nothing to sew on except, of course, sewing it closed once you're done. But yeah, I have like a whole body style that has a giraffe, a cow, and a unicorn so far that is designed to be low sew so that you only have to sew like 1 or 2 things on. So
I'll link your stuff down below if anybody wants to grab any patterns. We have to know what your all-time bestseller is at markets. It might change from market to market, but you have like an overall bestseller.
This might surprise you. I crochet this little pattern that is an opossum.
Oh my gosh.
And that is my top seller.
That sounds so cute. It is so random. Like you wouldn't think that.
So random.
I've seen it before and it's super cute. So I get that. And it probably is
Yeah.
because it's unique.
And that is surprisingly my best seller at every single market that
so
since I started
funny.
making those.
So what price point are those at?
$10.
$10.
So
So it's like
it
it's in the sweet spot. Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh, that's perfect. I'm doing this market. I actually am setting up tomorrow,
I'm
and
sorry.
I know I'm excited. I'm so nervous, but I also feel like I've never really incorporated a lot of amigurumi in my display before. And I've been getting all these DMs on Instagram like, what are your ideas for amigurumi? And like, how are you going to set it up? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't even really thought this through. So I was seeing if you had any ideas for me, like maybe how to incorporate it. Should I have like its own table or should I incorporate it with my other stuff? Like what ideas and like display ideas do you have for me?
I think incorporating it would definitely be what I would do and try to just put it where it looks natural.
Hi.
But definitely, I mean, I love the cutesy displays. I think you know that.
Totally.
Bowl that has little fish in it and like all kinds of stuff.
You have the cutest, you have like so like they're so unique, you know? I love it.
That's what I love. It draws people in. It really does.
It probably really does. Do you have any ideas? I have like a ton of these little bees. They're like this big. Do you have any cute like bee ideas?
There's on Amazon, I use this at my markets and I've actually noticed a difference in how many sales I've gotten on the bees. Is this honeycomb display that's actually meant for cupcakes.
I've seen that. Oh my gosh.
It's like $30, but it's honestly worth it.
Because it draws people in.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Yeah, one of my first markets, I had them just set up in a bin, and I think I sold one total, and I had like 6. And then when I first got that honeycomb display, there's 8 spots in it, so I had 8 bees, and I sold like 5 or 6.
Oh my gosh, you're like, okay, this is play.
Like, this is a solution.
I think a lot of people don't think that the display makes such a huge difference, and it totally
really
does. Yeah, like it just attracts more people. Okay, so I feel like I'm getting some inspiration. I'm excited. I will definitely, like, obviously share in this vlog because this is going to be in a vlog. My displays that I'm kind of thinking about for the amigurumi stuff. So I'm really excited. Thank you so much for talking with me and being on the channel.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. And again, if you guys want to see Katie's video and I'm going to be interviewed on her channel, go check out her channel. I will link that in the description box down below as well. And yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay, this girl inspired me. Look at what I found. Sorry, it's kind of, whoa, don't fall. Look at what I found at Hobby Lobby. It was on sale for $22. It looks like the perfect little chicken coop, does it not? I am so pumped. Look how cute they look in there. Katie totally inspired me to get creative with my displays after hearing about her bee setup. I went to go look for a display for the bees, but look what I found. I found this, which is like honestly just gold. I love it. So all of these guys are going to be displayed in this little thing. I have a feeling I'm not going to have room for more of these, but there was more of them at my Hobby Lobby if I do want to grab them tonight. That's another good part about setting up the day before. But anyways, I just want to show you. Look how cute. I can't wait to bring this set up. Just pulled up to the venue. I gotta go in, check in with the coordinators because I'm a little late right now. So I would stay and chat more, but we gotta go start setting up. I'm running out of time. It is 4:30. The building closes at 7. So it's 4:30 now, closes at 7. So we need to start getting set up like now. So let's do it. I got this fancy little sticker. It says I'm here to set up. So I gave one to Peyton. And now it looks like I've got to go through security. Oh my gosh, this is intense. Hey, it's Editing Camryn. I'm just going to hang out with you during the setup, kind of walk you through my thought process, all of the things. So when I first walked up, I was first overwhelmed because everybody else was already set up, but it was actually kind of nice because my neighbor had these curtains hanging down and I really liked the color of them. So that was kind of nice. It gave that natural divider between the booths. And I started with putting my tiered shelves on that side. So I ended up actually calling my dad to come help as well because I was getting so overwhelmed with the setup and the amount of time I had left. So after work, he came by to help me out and he totally knows the drill because he's helped me set up like a million times. When I got my table set up and the tablecloths on there, I started putting my crates out because these take up a ton of space, so it's nice to get them set up pretty quick right off the bat. And as my dad was working on my pegboard in the front, I was stocking my whole back shelving. So I was putting a ton of my beanies back there, and I was also adding some amigurumi as well. I was having a lot of fun playing around with how I wanted to set everything up. And after chatting with Katie, I decided to incorporate some of my amigurumi within my display. So you'll notice that I added this little mouse up here. And I ended up adding a ton of my amigurumi throughout my display as well. But this is what it was looking like at the moment. And then I started adding most of my amigurumi to this tiered shelf over here. As you'll see throughout me setting up, I rearranged things a few different times. And some of the display stuff I had out, I ended up putting away and replacing it with other stuff. So it's all just trial and error while setting up and trying to figure out what looks best. And it was super messy in my booth as I was setting up. And it's kind of overwhelming, but it's kind of just trusting the process and knowing that it'll all come together. That blackboard sign is something I ended up putting away just because the black was very harsh against all of my bright colored stuff, and I ended up not actually thinking of something to put on there anyways. But can we take a moment too and appreciate how cute this amigurumi is set up in their little displays? Like, I literally could not handle the cuteness. I'm going to walk you through slowly what my display ended up looking like. Here was all of my winter and fall stuff, and then it kind of faded into more baby stuff, and then a lot of amigurumi. I had my little chicken coop display up here at the front. Oh my gosh, it was too cute. I also ended up adding some amigurumi on my pegboard, which ended up being a really great idea because that actually drew a ton of people in as well, since it was right up there at the front. My dad actually had this really great idea to hang some baby booties right on my pegboard too, which also drew in a ton of people. But I think my personal favorite display was my little chicken coop display. I just could not handle these chickens and how cute they looked in it. I ended up putting out my bestseller sign right in the front on this tiered shelf. I just didn't add the hanging part to the top so that people could still see me, and I also didn't have anything to hang on there anyway, so it worked out perfect and looked super cute. I ended up not filming anything else this night, so the next clip you'll see is from the morning of my market. Let's do this. We are on our way to the show. I think we're gonna get there probably about 8:30-ish. I wanna stop by Starbucks on the way if we do have time because I need myself a chai, obviously, and I also didn't have time to grab breakfast or eat breakfast, so we need to grab something for breakfast as well. I have a couple more things back here that I'm bringing. This sign that I did, some more chickens. I also brought this light that I'm gonna try to light up some of my products because I'm kind of in a dim section. I feel like there's gonna be a huge rush of traffic first thing for all of the antiques and the vintage stuff because that's where you find kind of your more one-of-a-kind pieces. And then I feel like more of the handmade, people are gonna kind of trickle in later. That's just what I'm guessing. I honestly have no data to back that up. That's just kind of what I'm thinking is gonna happen. And yeah, I'm pretty pumped. I'm really excited that you're coming with me. Yesterday, after setting up and seeing everybody else's displays, a few things started to happen. One, I started comparing myself to a bunch of these displays, and I was feeling really insecure about mine. I'm like, oh my gosh, mine looks so bad compared to these other ones I'm seeing. But the next thing that happened once I switched my mindset was I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take inspiration from these displays. I obviously don't have as many items, display items right now with me. I can't do that right this second. But I'm gonna take some inspiration from these and maybe try some of these different displays out at future markets. So that's kind of the flip that went on in my mind when I was kind of getting in comparison mode. So maybe that's something to keep in mind if you do a market and you're like, oh my gosh, these booths are so cool. I feel like usually I'm really confident in my booth display, but this one is this is a big event. I feel like I'm in the big leagues now. I'm like, oh my gosh, my display is definitely not the best one at all. Far from it. That's another reminder just to focus on your own stuff when you're at a market. I know it's really hard because there's so much going on around you and you can't help but to compare yourself to some other vendors, but just try to focus on your own stuff, and that is what's gonna help you make those sales. I hope that helps some of you if you're feeling a little insecure about your display or about how many products you have, all the things. I definitely relate to that. It still happens to me. It still happened to me yesterday, but it's just important to switch your mindset, focus on yourself. We just grabbed our drinks. Well, Peyton grabbed a donut, I grabbed a bagel, and a chai, of course. So now we're on the way to the venue. It looks like probably about 10-15 minutes, you think? Like 10-15 minutes out. So it's about 8:20 right now. I'm hoping to be there by at least 8:40. I'm hoping, and then I can have 20 minutes to just get the last little things together. There's already a line of people to get in. Oh my gosh. There's another line over here. So we showed them our badges. Now we are going to the back. We are here about 30 minutes early. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of people already here for 30 minutes before the event. They're waiting in line. It's crazy. So we are gonna go around to the back, bring in the rest of my stuff, and just finish setting up. And then, I don't know, I'm getting excited now. I'm like even more nervous, but excited. I ended up adding this light that my dad let me borrow because I didn't have any to use, and I think I definitely want to invest in some of these for when I do indoor shows and the lighting's kind of dim, because this made a huge difference in my display. And I got all set up. I ended up stamping some bags for about 10 minutes before the market started. That way my logo was on the bags. I definitely underestimated the amount of bags to stamp because, oh my gosh, it was crazy busy. Hi, how are you? I'm good. Love your top, that's so pretty. It's about 11:30. This is what my display is looking like. Definitely did a lot of sales, so we'll see how the rest of the day goes. Hi, how are you? Hi, how's it going?
Good. Your chickens are adorable.
Thank you.
I love your chicken.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, sounds good. I know I love that yarn. It's super soft. Yeah. Oh, totally. How are you? There was a huge lunch rush that came through, and as you can tell, my market was obviously getting shopped from, as you can see from my chickens being shopped from. Also, all of my beanies were getting all disorganized, so I walked through my booth and started organizing everything, and this kind of gives you an idea of the amount of traffic of people walking by. It was crazy busy. I kept trying to pretty much restock stuff, even though I didn't have more amigurumi, but it was just kind of sad looking for a little bit. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to put something on these shelves. It looks so empty. So Peyton ended up bringing me lunch, and then I had him film these few little clips of me trying to really fill up how my booth was looking, just because it was looking so sparse. So that's what I was doing here. Down a teeny tiny bit, which actually feels kind of nice because it was so busy this morning. So just doing a little check-in. It's about 3:30. We're set up until 6, so we'll see how it goes. The last couple hours of the show was actually really slow, which I didn't mind at all because I was so tired and so overwhelmed all day. It was a lot of fun, but I didn't mind a little break. As you can see, so much of the amigurumi sold. I actually had to put out some seasonal stuff. I had my pumpkins that I moved closer to the front since there were so many gaps in my display, and I also put out my Christmas trees. I just had a really good day, but a very long day. So I got there about 30 minutes early, so about 8:30, and I really just want to show up tomorrow and have fun. I've already exceeded my goal for the show. I already am so happy with everything, and now it's just one of those things where it's like, do I wish I had more amigurumi to sell? Yes. But guess what? Selling out of these items, that is such a good problem to have. And I feel like a lot of people, me included, get so nervous. I don't have enough stuff. Like, what if it all sells? Guess what? If it all sells, is a good thing. You want to sell your items. I actually ran into a lot of customers that I've had from past markets, so that was a lot of fun. And I met a lot of new people too, and I told them about the markets that I'm doing in the future. And so I know a lot of that was just really good networking. Tons of people there, tons and tons of people. I'm excited for tomorrow. I will share some more behind the scenes tomorrow, but I definitely need to take my own advice of getting a good night's sleep before a show and do that right about now. Good morning. It is day 2 of my markets. I actually ended up having a little bit of time yesterday, and I did prep a couple more things. So some of these were like halfway made. So I finished up some bees and chickens. I'm gonna price them when I get there this morning. So I think I have 5 chickens and maybe 6 bees. So we'll see how that goes. I'm feeling really tired this morning. My head kind of hurts. So try to drink a bunch of water before the show, and yeah, are we going to get coffee? Sure. We're just gonna go, and yeah, we'll see how today goes, and I'll be sure to keep you updated. I started out the morning by doing a bunch of tagging of the products that I brought that I was able to finish up overnight. And it was actually pretty nice that the event didn't open its doors until 9 because it gave me time to actually do a few more things before customers came. And usually when I'm set up outdoors, that's not the case, right? Because people can walk by and shop as you're setting up, which as much as I love making extra sales, sometimes it's nice just to have a couple minutes before your market starts to get those last couple things finished up. Now, Sundays are usually quite a bit slower than Saturdays at any show, but this show in particular, Sunday, was so much slower for me. But honestly, like I said before, I had already met my sales goal, like exceeded my sales goal. I was so impressed by how much I had sold on Saturday that I was having a lot of fun just hanging out and crocheting on Sunday, honestly. I still made quite a few sales, actually, especially for how picked through my inventory was. But just to kind of show you the traffic, this was about what the traffic was all day. And I know it looks like kind of a lot, but there just wasn't as much shopping going on, which was honestly totally fine with me. I had already met my goals, and I was just there having a good time. It was just about time to take down, and I just started condensing all of my stuff because it was starting to look pretty sparse, and I was noticing people were kind of walking by and not coming in as much. So I kind of condensed everything down, rearranged a little bit, and then it was actually just time to take down. Peyton and my dad both came to help me tear down, and it was so nice of them to come because we actually were torn down and ready to leave, like cars loaded, within 30 minutes, which was incredible because the weekend was so long. So it was just such a relief that the teardown didn't take that long and we could be on the road pretty quick. I actually put away my stuff pretty organized. Sometimes when I'm super tired, I just throw stuff in bins and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna deal with that later. It was a long weekend. Oh my gosh, that event went so much better than I expected it to. And I want to just give you a little recap on what my best sellers were, what my price points were for them, and just give you a little general overview of the whole market. It went so well, and I just want to thank you again so much for coming with me. And yeah, oh my gosh. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you, all of my amigurumi sold. All of it. After the first day, I had a mouse left, and then I had a chicken left, and overnight, I was able to prep, well, some of this stuff was already pretty much halfway made, but I was able to finish up 6 bees and 5 chickens. I brought all of that the next day. So the next day I had a mouse, and then I had a total of 6 chickens and 6 bees, and they all sold pretty early in the day. So I sold the amigurumi completely out. There's none of it left. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I was not picturing to sell that out. So I'm going to go over the numbers, exactly how many I brought of the amigurumi and then how much I was charging for it as well, because I know that'll be really helpful for you watching if you want to try out any of these patterns at your market, and just some general price points that were working well for me on them. But I also wanted to add, I was super nervous because it was a higher booth fee, actually the highest booth fee I have ever had for a market. And I made it back within 15 minutes. So And I just wanted to mention that I sold much more than just my amigurumi. I sold a ton of my baby hats. I sold a ton of the newborn velvet beanies with the double palms. I always sell those. It's like my top bestseller every market, and it sells all year. Like, it's June and people are buying these beanies. It's really hot here, but people know people who are expecting, and honestly, they just sell really well every market. So that's a pattern I actually sell, and I'll link it in the description box down below. But that was selling really well. My baby bear hats were selling really well. I actually sold a Christmas tree because later in the market, I had to put out like more of my pumpkins and Christmas trees, like seasonal stuff, because I sold all the amigurumis. So I sold the Christmas trees. I did sell some pumpkins, surprisingly, because I thought that was a bit early to put them out, but they were still selling decently well. I sold some scrunchies, and I sold quite a few keychains, but honestly not as many as I was expecting to sell. Definitely people were spending more money at this market than usually, like during a summer market. So I was pretty impressed that a lot more people were buying my higher price point items at this market. But since my amigurumi made its first appearance at this market, I did want to break down those numbers a little bit for you so you get a better understanding on how those sold for me. So the first chicken pattern, the one of the chickens sitting up, that one I brought 11 of, and those sold super fast. I sold them for $22 each. I brought a total of, this is crazy, 39 bees. That's a lot of bees. They all sold, most of them sold the first day. Actually, 33 of them sold the first day. And I only had 6 more to bring the next day. I feel like if I had more, they would have totally sold, but I was selling those for $12 each. I brought 6 of the mice, and they were the snugglers, and I was charging $42 for them, and I did end up selling every single mouse as well for the full price. And last but not least, I brought 26 of the chickens, the other chickens that I was doing. Since I was doing 2 versions of the chickens in my market vlog, I only showed the first version, but I actually made 26 of this other version of chickens. And by the way, I will link all the patterns that I used in the description box down below if you want to check those out. All the amigurumi patterns aren't my own patterns, they're from other makers. But this chicken pattern, I sold all 26, and I sold them for $18 each. I did them specifically because the event is called Farm Chicks, but honestly, I'm gonna make them for my fall markets as well, because a lot of people, they didn't even seem to care that it was Farm Chicks or not. They just wanted those chickens, and that's totally fair because they're super cute. So I am going to definitely continue selling amigurumi, especially in summer markets. I used my pricing calculator to price all of my products, and I know I'm making good profit on all of them, so I'm like feeling really good about this market now that I actually know how much I'm making per item as well. And if you want to see me demo that, I actually have it in my last market prep vlog right here. So in that video, I'm actually prepping for this market, but I also demo the pricing calculator that I have coming up. I'm launching it this month. So go ahead and check out that video next, and I will see you, my friends, in this video right here. Bye!